Formatting your screenplay is extremely important because it can make or break the reader's experience. You can have an absolutely amazing script with compelling characters, but if your screenplay isn't correctly formatted, your viewer might have a hard time reading it, and that's the last thing that you want. So today, we're gonna fix that. So first things first, I need to establish that a screenplay reads differently than a novel. You do not need to be super poetic in your action lines. You really just need to get the point across. The simpler, the better. Remember, the script isn't your final product. The script is a blueprint for your actors to give the final product. So first things first, we're gonna start off with the slug line. A slug line tells your reader where the scene is taking place, without having to tell the story in a way that takes your character to the scene. You just write INT, period, hospital, dash, night. Or, of course, we could do exterior park day. So it'd be EXT, period, park, dash, day. And this is gonna be at the very, very top above your action line. And it's usually gonna be formatted on the left side of the page. It also makes things a lot easier if later in post-production you need to actually look for these locations and find places to film in. So the action lines, like I just talked about earlier, tell the reader what is actually physically happening in the scene, what your characters and what your actors are doing. And your characters and actors should always be doing something, unless the scene specifically calls for your characters to be doing nothing. Your characters should always be doing something. You don't ever want them just sitting around talking. Another thing I see very, very often is beginner writers will put ... at the end of their action lines before they deliver the dialogue. Don't do this. Instead, you're going to want to describe the character taking that pause and what it looks like. So you might, instead of writing ... you could say something like, for example, Sharon hovers her head over the counter momentarily before turning back to talk to Diane, right? She pauses momentarily, and it's visual, you can see it. So we just took that ... to a actual visual tension. Action lines are also usually formatted as just a normal paragraph. Your characters' names are going to be in all caps, and they're going to be formatted in the center of the page before they deliver the dialogue. When a character's name is referred to in an action line, it's also going to be all caps. After you format the character's name in the center of the page, next comes the dialogue. The dialogue is also going to be in the center of the page, directly under the character's name. Also, do not put ... in your dialogue either. Instead, you would write pause in parentheses if your character is taking a pause in their sentence. Or you can write beat in parentheses if there's an emotional or tonal shift in your character pausing in the sentence. The next thing we're going to talk about is transitions. Transitions are usually formatted on the right-hand side of the page, and it might read something like fade in, colon, or fade out, colon. You put the colon because what comes after the transition is what it's fading into. And you don't need to do this for every next scene. Usually you're only going to want to fade in and fade out at the beginning and at the end. The very last thing I want to talk about is scripting camera shots. So many times I see people write their camera shots in the action lines as if it's an action describing how we're supposed to view it happening, but that's not the right way to do it. You want your action lines to be as unbiased as possible. You want your action lines to just be factual, what's happening. So instead, we're going to take the camera movement and write it into a camera shot. Your camera shots are going to be entirely written in all caps. So it'll kind of look like an action line, but you'll be able to tell the difference because it'll be completely in all caps. So the way you would write a camera shot is you take your shot type first. So we'll say close up. Close up, that's your shot type first. Close up, and then your movement. So we'll say push in, close up, push in, and then after that, you're going to write a short 1-line description of what is happening. So you might say close up, dash, push in, colon, water drips onto a smiley face button. Water drops fall onto a puddle, something like that. But it's basically going to be shot type, movement, and then a quick description of what the shot is, what it looks like. And it's going to be in completely all caps, and this is what's going to help separate it from the action line. Now, I know this sounds like a lot, and if you're going to be using Google Docs or Microsoft Word, it's going to be really difficult to be able to let everything flow from you while you're writing and being able to keep everything in a format. So there are actually a bunch of different screenwriting tools and softwares that you can use, that you can download right now for free, that will format your screenplay as you go along. The one that I use most often is called Celtx or Celtx. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. It's free. It's free. You really don't need to pay for it. So I hope this video helps you guys. I hope you were able to learn something. If you did go on to enjoy the video, make sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.